favorite. He will be, ratings will boost up because people are going to want to see what happens with Tiger Woods. But at the end of the day, all this is good for the game of golf. All this is good just for sports in general. And it's a different Tiger, you know, from what he went through in his off the course life, if you will. I think it changed him. It changed him. And the injury changed him. It changed him to not necessarily be, I don't want to, as cold, maybe as brash or, as he used to be. And I think he appreciates it a lot more, his accomplishment. He appreciated him before, but I think he appreciated even more what's available to him. So Tiger Woods is back on top. And who's on top as I'm talking about this? So if you're listening to this live, the Boston Celtics just went back on top with under 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Indiana was giving them all that they could handle, and the Boston Celtics went on a 8-0 run to end the third quarter. So now they got the pressure putting on to the Indiana Pacers, and now it's like what can they do? Indiana, they just missed a shot. Kyrie takes the rebound. He's dribbling up, and I'm not going to give you a play-by-play or anything like that, but it's almost game time to get this thing over with, and we'll find out, and I'll give you an update on it. So, and I will right now. Jason Tatum just passed to Gordon Hayward for the easy 2, so now that puts them up by 3. So it looks like Indiana is falling under the pressure. They're on the road. They were in the game. And somebody got to make shots, and you don't have Victor Oladipo there to take that pressure off. So this game might be over, but it's 3-point game. Anybody could do anything. So we'll get off that. We'll move on to the next story. The next story is going to be about Russell Wilson. Hey, Mr. Wilson, you got that extension, and he told him, "Show me the money!" He told them to show him the money, and that's exactly what he did. Russell Wilson got himself a 4-year extension, $140 million. I think it's $65 million guaranteed. And also, we got a video from him in bed with Ciara talking about how he got his new deal. I don't know why Russell Wilson was talking in the low voice and everything. And, I had never heard him talk like that before. But I guess if you're in the bed with your lady and you just got yourself $140 million, now we know you ain't going to get all that, but it don't matter. $100 million? Hey, I might be talking like that too. I know Lopan probably would. Indeed. Yeah, I probably would. I'd be like, "What's up?" Yeah. I don't have the voice, like other people do. But let's talk about this deal. To me, I'm not surprised. I talked about it before as far as him being the highest paid. Seattle don't act like, you had this success before he had got there. And I think a lot of people forget about this. I think a lot of people forget about this as Indiana just self-destructed and calling a timeout on the inbounds. They just completely throw it away and throw it out of bounds. But I think a lot of people forgot about this with Russell Wilson. And it's not the third round pick. People forget Russell Wilson was a third round pick because Seattle thought they had their guy. Do you remember who was their quality free agent? Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn was the quarterback that he played himself into a contract that he got from Seattle. There were teams that were wanting him. He picked Seattle. He went in there. And the same year after that, Russell Wilson was just supposed to be backing up Matt Flynn. That did not happen. He won the starting job. Matt Flynn never saw the field. And Matt Flynn ended up being Russell Wilson's quarterback. So it's not like this formula, or I know they're heavy on their run game and everything, but it's not like this formula that they have was without the contributions of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, and don't get me wrong, Matt Hasselbeck was a really, really good quarterback for Seattle, and he got them to the Super Bowl. But in comparison, Matt Hasselbeck and Russell Wilson are not on the same level when it comes to being a QB. To me, I think paying him, you are going to go a little bit more with the pass. You still can be a running team, but I just think that they will use the pass a little bit more. He has shown that he can do that. He has shown that he is capable of taking over games. He has shown, in addition to taking over games, he has shown that he can be clutch as well. So Russell Wilson, to me, this contract, I don't have a problem with it. Some people may have a problem with it, but I keep telling people it's not actually what is he's worth. Well, it is a little bit, but it's the going market. That is the going market for the quarterback position. And it's going to be another quarterback that's going to be right behind him that's probably going to make more money as well. So now going forward, they just got to get him a little bit more help on the outside. Tyler Lockett is there. Doug Baldwin is the number one receiver. I think they have to get someone that can assist or be the number two to Doug Baldwin, and then get a tight end. But they definitely got to, do something with the offense. A lot of people are going to talk about the offensive line, which is true as well. To me, you got your running game. You got Chris Carson. You got Rashad Penny there. So you shouldn't be, but Pete Carroll probably will. You shouldn't be drafting any more running backs at this point. But get some help on that front line to protect your $34, $35 million quarterback, your $34, $35 million investment, your $34, $35 million franchise player. To me, that is where they should be going. Now, the money situation, we don't know, what they're going to have left over to get other guys, but you got to get something. You got to get something to protect Russell. He's not going to be able to run away like he always do currently, is all I'm saying. So, Russell Wilson got paid, got his lady, got his team. And the last thing I'm going to say on this, because remember, this whole thing started off with Russell Wilson gave them a deadline of April 15th to have a deal done. And the whole thing about it was that if the deal was not done, then he wasn't negotiating anymore at all. And he would play his last year out, and then he would go ahead and be a free agent and move on somewhere else. And this all plays into the hands of Russell Wilson, where having that leverage, because if you remember the story. Yes, the story. What was the story? The story was that his lovely wife, Ciara, felt that being in New York, she could, do more with her career than she could in Seattle, and that Russell was really thinking about it, or, she has this influence, on him, as she should. She is his wife, but also tied with Eli's on his way out, and you move in Russell after that. Maybe the Giants could do something to trade, or maybe they just wait and he just come to New York. This is perfect timing. This is perfect placement by Team Wilson. And you put that out there. I don't think he was ever leaving. I don't think Ciara would, say, well, you need to get me to New York so I can do this, that, and the third. I'm sure she felt it would be nice to have it, but as far as like strong arming him or pushing him, in that direction, I don't know if she would do something like that, but it doesn't matter. You leak that out, that information. You tie it in with the New York Giants. You tie it in with the deadline and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you got yourself a deal. I think it's a smart investment. He's not going to cheat you. I can't guarantee he's going to win you a Super Bowl, but he won't cheat you. He's going to give you everything he's got, and he's always going to give you a chance. So Russell Wilson, highest paid player in the NFL, highest paid quarterback, until someone else comes along and change that. But for right now, he got the juice. And you listen to the Wait a Minute show with your man, Jelani J.B. Bodie. Update on the game. The Boston Celtics do beat the Indiana Pacers. Indiana fell apart. The last minute and a half, they fell apart. They just made just ridiculous mistakes that you cannot make, especially playing on the road. That cost them this game. They were in this. They were giving Boston a run for their money, and this was supposed to have been a game where, to me, the Celtics, the last game was a close call. This was supposed to be, a game where they definitely, enforced their will, but they couldn't do that. But Indiana couldn't take advantage of it. And Kyrie Irving had 37 points tonight. So I'm sorry, I'm giving you updates, but I just want to keep you informed. So inform in a week, actually, yeah, for the people that's not going to be listening to this live, in a week we will be talking about the NFL draft. So it is right around the corner. It'll be here next week, which it is going down in Nashville, Tennessee. You must be never mind. That's a low pan line that he'll say. Indeed. You must be a 10 because it is 10 eyes. Okay, I'm sorry. The NFL draft is going down in Nashville next week, and we still do not have a clear-cut number one draft pick. We talked about Kyler Murray. It was Kyler Murray early to go into the Cardinals. Steve Keim, Cardinals GM Steve Keim has said they still haven't made a decision on what they're going to do with the number one pick. Bull crap. I don't believe that. At this point, you've had every opportunity to evaluate all the players and everything that you want to do. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he's going to do. He knows, if something else comes along that will persuade him out of that number one, he knows what it is. And other teams know what it is as well, because they don't put stuff out there on the table. So I don't believe the fact that he is still trying to decide which direction they're going to go, who they're going to draft. You're either going to take Kyler Murray, or you're going to take a quarterback, or you're going to probably take a defensive end, defensive tackle or something like that, or offensive lineman, at this point, because they had all the problems in the world. They got a lot of holes on their team, so there's a lot of places that they can fill. But I do not believe that someone like Steve Keim that takes, pride and actually, invest himself into his job is at the point where he doesn't know who they're going to pick at this point. You got 5-6 people on your list. Maybe you don't know the order right now, but you do know who you want. And then by next week, you'll definitely know in the order that you want these people. So you got the number one draft pick, that's out there. Then you got who could be the first wide receiver taken in the NFL draft. You got DK Donkey Kong Metcalf. You got A.J. Brown, amongst others that's out there that's going to be entered into the draft. And I think a wide receiver probably won't go until maybe that mid to late first round. I think this will be heavy when the quarterback is gone, especially if Kyler Murray goes, number one overall, even, he may not even go top 5 because the way everything is set up. But a team may jump up to take one of those top 5 positions to get Kyler Murray. And then I think the chips are going to start falling. You'll have all the other quarterbacks that fall in line. But then this is a really, really big, heavy defensive draft, if you will, where you got guys like Rashawn Gary and Ed Oliver and Nick Bosa, and the list goes on and on. Devon White out of LSU, Greedy Williams out of LSU. So you got a lot of talent on the defensive side. So I think that will take a little bit of a precedent in this draft. So some of the offensive guys will probably have to wait a little bit to get drafted, because right now it's how many, are you a points getter? Can you put up points, or can you stop points? That is what they're looking for. So, but the wide receiver, there's a few out there to choose from as well. What else is going on with the NFL draft? Just the question marks, for what other teams will do, because since they're not on the don't have the number one pick like the Arizona Cardinals do, you have to strategize and try and put this into a certain situation that plays out for you so you can get the actual guy that you want, which doesn't always, play out to be like that.